Honestly, adulthood is just a bunch of not knowing what the F is going on. College is kind of like an extension of that because it's a bunch of people who don't know what adulthood is and who are trying to navigate adulthood and trying to live up to adulthood standards in the same environment and just trying to figure it out. So it's a hot mess. I realize like college, at the end of the day, in my opinion, it's less so about education and more so about experience. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Soda2. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and if you're returning, thank you so much for subscribing. So today's video, I'm just going to be talking about things that I wish that I knew or things that I wish that I did while I was in college. So a little backstory, I'm a first generation college student, meaning that my parents didn't go to college. My sister did go to college, but we had such a huge gap between us that like the things that were relevant to her when she was in college might not have been relevant to me. So I kind of was like on my own figuring things out. If I had to redo my undergraduate years, the first thing that I would do is learn myself better. I was so hell-bent on trying to finish by a certain deadline that I didn't take a chance to like get to know myself, because I feel like honestly adulthood is just a bunch of not knowing what the F is going on and just trying to figure it out. And I feel like college is kind of like an extension of that because it's a bunch of people who don't know what adulthood is and who are trying to navigate adulthood and trying to live up to adulthood standards in the same environment. It's a hot mess, but I really wish I took time to like kind of get to know myself a little bit more. I wish that I like figured out what kind of hobbies I was really into or what kind of interests I had and pursued those in terms of like joining clubs, taking certain classes that I was interested in. And I get it, we're paying for it or somebody is paying for it. We might even end up leaving college with a loan, so it's like you don't really want to spend too much time maybe having fun, I guess, but just realize like college, at the end of the day, it's, in my opinion, guys, it's less so about education and more so about experience. The second thing that I would have done, I changed my major from biology to psychology, but I waited really long to do that because I was genuinely so scared. I just kept thinking, what kind of job can I get with a psychology degree? Will I be able to make as much money as if I were to become a doctor or if I were to work in the medical field? All those what ifs were holding me back from changing my major, which I had started taking psychology classes in my first like year of college. I loved it. Like I fell in love with psychology, but it was always that fear of like, if I am spending this much money or if I am taking out a loan or if I'm being given a grant to study, I need to be able to get not a reward, but like get something out of it at the end of the day. So for me, it was just like, okay, what I will get out of it is financial stability once I graduate. But one thing that I realized after graduation is that like don't expect to have financial stability directly after graduation, regardless of the kind of degree that you have, because the job market isn't as straightforward as I feel like they make it out to be when we're studying in college. And a lot of the times I think that like jobs are not looking necessarily for what your major was, but what did you gain in terms of experiences while studying your major, or what did you gain that you can apply to your job through your major. So studying psychology definitely helped me to become a better communicator. It helped me to be more self-aware, which I think those are traits and qualities that are really necessary in a workplace. It helped me to be a little bit more analytical, to take my time, to be open-minded and be open to meeting different kinds of people and having different opinions given, which I think that's also required when you're working in a workspace with people who are most likely not going to be like you. Okay, number 3, oh my God. I really wish I talked to my professors more, especially when I changed my major from biology to psychology. I wish I had more like bravery or more courage to talk to my professors because they're a wealth of resources. They have networks that they can connect you to. They can answer questions not just related to your field, but maybe related to internships, related to the job market, related to just adulthood in general. And I felt like a lot of the psychology professors at my school were just extremely amazing because in my mind, I still had that high school mindset of like, okay, this is my teacher, I am the student. There's a degree of separation that like I can't cross. And even though I was pretty comfortable with most of my high school teachers, I felt like it was because I was doing well in their class, so I had the right to be comfortable with them or talk to them. But when I wasn't doing so well in class, I didn't have the confidence to approach professors. And I know it can be a little bit nerve-wracking because like I said, that whole like degree of separation. Like they're my professor, I'm the student, so I don't want to cross certain boundaries. But I think as long as you keep it professional, you should be able to network with your professors and talk to them. Number 3, and this is kind of sort of related to the last one, is that I wish that I volunteered or I interned more in my own field. So when I switched to psychology, I guess because I was in a rush to just get all my program requirements done, because I had every prerequisite done, but I had certain classes that I needed to take in order to graduate. So I was so focused on that I didn't take a chance to volunteer with different organizations related to psychology, because they did have organizations related to psychology on my campus. So maybe if they were doing like a trip, or if they were just doing anything at all on campus, I wish I volunteered my time and worked with them, just so I could have a little bit more networking experience. One thing that I really think would have been very valuable to me is interning in the field that I thought I wanted to work in, or interning in fields that I was interested in, because I feel like it would have given me certain experiences that I could have added to my resume that employers are more interested in than the grades that I got on in my classes. Number 5, I think I'm on number 5. I wish I asked more questions in class. And if my dad is watching this, he's probably gonna be like, I told you so. My dad used to always say, if you don't know, ask. Ask anybody. The worst thing that can happen is that the person doesn't give you the answer you're looking for. So I really wish that when I was in class, and when I was even outside of class, that I visited my professors, or I asked my classmates when I didn't understand things. I think when I switched to becoming a psychology major, I was a lot more comfortable because the classes were smaller, and like I said, my professors were very down to earth. So I would raise my hand and ask questions, or I would add to the discussion. And that really helped, I think, in that my professors kind of got to know me, at least by name, because I was always raising my hand to ask questions, or I was always raising my hand to answer questions. I think it just helps you to build that relationship with your professor, but it also helps you to further understand things. It shows the professor that like you care, or that like you're inquisitive, but that's not the important part. The important thing is that like you're understanding what you're learning. Number 6 is I wish I balanced more between my social life and my study life. I never really dedicated time for work and time for play, so the two always blended together. So because I didn't have these dedicated times, if a friend of mine came to me and was like, hey, we're gonna go grab something to eat, wanna come? Even if I knew I had an exam the next day that I was cramming for, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. And I'd spend the entire day there, and then I'd have to wait till very late at night to study. I'd be stressed. Later on in my college career, what I realized was that like that fear of missing out, or that fear of disappointing my friends, technically it shouldn't be a thing, because we're all in the same environment. We're all trying to figure out, navigate adulthood, college life, social life, study life. So sometimes it's okay to say no to friends. It's okay to pass on certain outings, on certain gatherings, get-togethers, fun times, whatever, and just focus on your studies, because when you do study ahead of time and you're not cramming, you have a little bit more time to hang out with your friends. Number 7, I would have joined more clubs. I was part of the Muslim Student Association Club, and I was also part of the comics and other media club. I was even on the board. And I'm laughing because like that was actually something very like different and new and like brave for me to do. I really wish that I joined more diverse clubs like that. I was really like sheltered in a way. I stuck to MSA because I felt comfortable there, and I didn't go outside of my comfort zone ever. The only time I attended events by other clubs was if my friends were going to be there. So I really wish that like I branched out a little bit more. I would have met more people. I would have networked a lot more. I would have learned new perspectives and new ideas and just had fun. Number 8 is I would make myself food more often. I would not order food on campus or at restaurants near campus or anywhere. I would literally cook all of my food because it saves so much more money. So when I first got into college, I was, like I said, I was at a 2-year university, and I didn't spend that much time on campus. I had also a 3-day schedule. So I would be on campus only 3 days a week. And then the other 2 days I was working or I was at home, so I was eating at home. I wasn't spending a lot of money on food at my community college. But when I was on campus at my 4-year university, I would be at school from maybe 8 in the morning until 8 or 9 p.m. at night. So I would definitely get hungry. And so I was buying maybe 3 meals a day plus snacks, because when I was studying, I wanted to have snacks. And y'all, I was spending money, like the amount of money I was spending, because I didn't have a car, so I couldn't go on off campus all the time to get cheaper options. I used to always buy my food from campus, and campus food is expensive for no daggone reason. The quality ain't even there. I think it would have saved me so much more money if I made my own food. Number 9, I would have used more of the free services that were offered on campus. So the free services that were offered at my school were things like, for example, we had a commuter. Because I was a commuter, I didn't live on campus. We had a commuter club where if you came early enough to school, they gave you free breakfast. We also had free therapy as long as you're a student. Things like having tutors, free tutors for all subjects, the library where there were books and computers, study rooms, the gym, the bicycles, I don't know, anything at all. If all you require is a student card to get it for free, use the heck out of it. Literally, you're paying for it. It's not really free, you're paying for it. Last but not least, so this is number 10, I wish I made more use of my commute. So like I said, I would commute to school. I really wish that I used that time to study or use that time to de-stress and things like that. It wasn't until my last year that I started like listening to music or listening to nasheeds or listening to motivational podcasts. I could have just taken that time to just like relax, but I was always like super stressed, like, oh my God, am I gonna get there on time? Da, 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 da. So I really wish I used that commute time, especially during rush hour, to just gain more from my environment or to just like de-stress or unwind from school. So yeah, those are my 10 things I would do if I had the opportunity to redo my undergraduate years. I really hope you guys benefited from it and that you liked it. Please comment down below what it is that you're looking forward to if this is going to be your first year of college. And if you've already been in college, what is one thing that you wish that you had done while you were in college, or things that you would redo if you had the opportunity to go back to college. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you found that it was beneficial, feel free to share it with your friends. Feel free to share it on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. I would love for other people to see it as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and love. Bye bye.